What's going on, everybody? It's Brady with Balloon Entertainment. Today I want to share a pro tip with everybody, something that I found to be very helpful, very useful, something that took me a little while to figure out. I'm not sure what everybody else is doing for four-way connections on EMT Conduit, but this is something that I found to work. In the past, what I did was would just take conduit and overlap it and run screws and screws through it and then nuts on the bottom of it, but that was really unstable and I didn't trust that, but I didn't really know a better way to do it. And so what I have found is, and this video is designed for those in the balloon community, but this could also maybe be used in the electrical community as well. Instead of bending the pipe up and over the other pipes, you might be able to use this as well. It's not as cost efficient, but it's definitely pretty time efficient. At least that's what I have found. So anyways, what I've done is I take these are I'm going to be using 3/4, but this works for 1/2 inch or other sizes as well. But these are the rigid elbows for EMT conduit. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take these plates off right here, and then we're basically going to put these back to back, and then we're going to fasten them together. And then I'm going to show you what I use on these right here to make it adapt to the piping, and hopefully you'll be able to use this tip in the future. So without further ado, let's get started. So this requires a square bit right here, and so I've got it in my drill right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a square bit. You can find it in any hardware store, typically in any little driver assortment. It'll have a square bit in there, but you're just gonna put that right in there. Back these screws out right here. We're not going to need these screws or this plate anymore. I haven't really found a repurpose for those, but anyways, so you may have already kind of figured out what we're going to do on this, but I'm going to go ahead and go through the whole procedure anyways, for those that maybe haven't figured it out. So what we've got is now the two rigid elbow connectors without the back plates on them. And so what I've done is I went and I found these screws right here. These are just some spare screws I have. I believe it's an 832, but definitely when you go to Home Depot or wherever you get your rigid connectors from, you can ask them what size thread this is, and they'll be able to get you a pack of these little screws. But these are just some spare screws I had lying around the house. But anyways, what I do is I put my Phillips bit in there, because these are Phillips head, and what I'm going to do is, instead of screwing in from the back, I'm going to go from the front on the inside right here through that same screw hole. So it's a little bit of a weird fit, but I'm basically going to kind of start it with my fingers a little bit. Okay, so I've got it in there. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my screwdriver here, get it started a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the back of the other plate or the other connector against it, and go ahead and thread all of that through. It's a little bit of a weird fit, a little bit of a weird squeeze, but it definitely works. Okay, so that's nice and tight. And so then now I've got that one this way. What I like to do is I like to go the other direction with the other screw, and that gives it a little bit more durability, and that makes it less easy for this to separate and rip the threads off, because I have one screw head on one direction and one screw head on the other direction. So I'll go ahead and put that in there now like this. We'll get it threaded through the other set of holes there. Again, use the screwdriver. Just run it right in there. Okay, and so now this thing is pretty solid. It's not coming loose. All right, so that is the four-way connector. So now you can run a pipe this way, this way, this way, and this way. And what I actually need these for is I'm building a boat anchor, and I need a couple of different four-way connections on it. And so that's why I developed this technique. So what I use then is I use these EMT basically threaded set screw connectors. Okay, I like to make sure the little lock ring, I like to make sure that's nice and tight. And then basically I'm just going to take this, I'm going to thread it in here. Okay, I like to get it nice and tight. And then we're going to go back to our square bit. Okay, and what we're going to do is, if we don't do this step right here, we could have issues because this won't be locked in. This thing can come loose, and you don't want that happening. Whatever you put on this end turning or spinning, or the wind picking up or anything, or client messing with this. So I'll go ahead and just grab that little screw right there and lock it in. Now this thing's not going anywhere. All right, so three more times. Make sure that the lock nut on there is tight. Spin it on there. Get it in there nice and tight. Go ahead and lock it in. I'm going to tighten this one down just a little bit more here. All right, 2 more. And you can buy these in bulk. I buy the big box of 25 because you can save so much by buying in bulk. So I also buy the bulk packs of EMT because you save like 60 cents a pipe or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and thread both of those in there. Okay, so those are both threaded in there. Go ahead and lock it in. I like to use the impact gun when I'm doing this, and the reason being is it's just gonna lock that in there nice and good. You can use a regular drill driver. You can even use, do it by hand with a screwdriver, but I really like using the impact. It just gets it nice and tight. So these things are all on here nice and tight. They're not coming loose. And so then all you're going to do from that point is you take your pipe, stick it in here, tighten that screw down just like you would on any other conduit frame, and you're good to go at that point. Now you've got a 4-way. It's a little bit bulky right here, but the 1/2-inch ones aren't so bad. And really, when you think about it, if you got balloon here, balloon here, balloon here, and balloon here, this isn't really that big of a problem. So anyways, and if you're using 3/4, hopefully you're doing some kind of big enough inflation that you're going to cover this up. If not, maybe step down to the 1/2-inch for your framing, and then this will be a lot smaller and you'll be able to do a whole lot more with that center area. But anyways, I hope you guys like this tip. I hope this helps. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate your time and watching the video. Thanks.